Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the latest episode of Outlander Blood of My Blood, Episode 3, titled School of the Moon. So, the main bulk of this episode details what's going on with, the gathering, and pretty much trying to figure out who's going to be Laird. I mean, we already know that Cullum is going to do it, and he pretty much links up with Dougal to do it. However, the bulk of this episode really is just them kind of fighting for it before eventually coming to the kind of agreement that Ellen pretty much figured out for Ned to kind of look into. I know that kind of glosses over a lot, but that's the main kind of crux that we have here. It's like, okay, they act like assholes towards each other, and then they just decide not to act like assholes towards each other. Like the McKinney dude trying to pretty much take over as the Laird is kind of the impetus, but it's more just like they run out the time. It's like, oh, okay. So we pretty much start the episode with Ellen either having a dream of what she has already done with Brian or what she would like to do with Brian. So it's like, okay, we gotta get a sexy scene with Jamie's parents now, when we've been getting sexy scenes with Claire's parents. And we do check in with Julia and everything like that, but it's more towards the end, kind of linking up with what's kind of going on that front. So, and we get little bits of Henry here, pretty much just still trying to look for Julia. But the main thing is we see pretty much the gathering still going on. We see that Murtaugh learns about the whole betrothal of Ellen to Malcolm Grant and being pissed off about that. Brian, of course, is thinking that he's learned more about Brian's feelings towards Ellen, which plays off into them talking with Lovett later on when they get back home. We do see that Fitzgibbons tries to pretty much like, hey, Ellen, when you get married, take my ass with you, as they're pretty much praying for the clan and everything. And we get flashbacks of, Red Jacob and his relationship with pretty much Dougal and Cullum, which is vastly worse than the relationship between him and Ellen. He's actually a pretty shit father if he just favorites Ellen as much as he did and does nothing for Cullum and Dougal. He sends him off on this raid to pretty much go after some cattle and shit, but this is, of course, where Cullum gets fucked up and his disease becomes kind of more active because he really doesn't take care of himself. The father's pissed off because they didn't get the raid done and had to come back. I'm like, that's the leader that you sent off was severely fucked up. You would want the underlings to continue on without a leader and just be like, oh yeah, cool, It's like, what the fuck is up with you? Of course, he then tries to pretty much play off this stuff and be like, oh, you're still in bed after a month. It's like, did you know what happened to his legs and what's going on? So he tries to chase after him. Also says that Dougal pretty much split off the support of the party to go after the McDonald's land and cattle and shit. And of course, he then starts to try and beat sense into Dougal, but he realizes that he can't. He's like, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fool. All right, cool. And Ellen's watching this, so we get most of that stuff flashback-wise to pretty much understand how both brothers are dipshits. And then, of course, treating Ellen like shit, pretty much like she takes Cullum to task of why the fuck did you not even consult me on this kind of shit? I took care of you. It's like, yeah, whatever, fuck you. I understand the animosity because she was favorited by Red Jacob, but that's still not right. She does have smart ideas, which eventually is pretty much what they go with at this episode. We see McKinney pretty much making fun of Colin, like, oh, do this thing with me. Oh, you can't because of your legs. We see that Dougal is kind of trying to get Ellen's support, but then does this stupid little thing to kind of link it up with the Jacobite cause with McGrannock, promising Ellen to him. Instead, this is linking up with the stuff that we'd seen in the show, him with the pearls and using the cows to help Claire get Jamie out of prison. And of course, with everything kind of going on with Murtaugh and the whole Tusk armbands. So Murdaugh's pissed. They go back and they pretty much say what's going on. The whole thing with the Malcolm Grant thing. Lovett's taking a shit while this is going on before coming out. And Lovett's like, yeah, I'm just going to besmirch her kind of reputation. And Brian's like, do we need to do that? I mean, what the fuck? But Murtaugh's like, oh, you're doing a good wingman thing. If you do the reputation, I got a better shot at this kind of shit. It's like, no. And it's really kind of weird because you would think that Lovett would probably want to, like, if Brian was upfront about his feelings and everything, Lovett would not support him because it's the best interest for Brian and Ellen because everybody else is being complete and utter shit fucks around them. It's more along the lines of that he would do it to fuck over Clan Mackenzie in any kind of way possible, and his bastard taking one of their marriageable brides away. Yeah. And Yukasa's being like, yeah, you think you're all good with your brothers and they're all trying to marry you off and everything. It's like, oh, God. Yukasa's kind of annoying at this point. She's balanced out a little bit more in the Outlander series because she's been through more shit. We see Ellen pretty much link up with Ned to pretty much get the whole Colin being the Laird, Dougal being the War Chieftain. That's pretty much where we get to at the end. McKinney tried to kind of fight it, but we get everybody kind of like swearing fealty and everything. We see that Bug is following Henry around, but Henry and Ned are meeting in this brothel, and they pretty much give the madam the description of Julia so they can look for Julia. He's like, alright, cool. Ned gets his usual kind of shit. Then we get pretty much to Julia's kind of thing. Brian's mother pretty much tries to talk her into having an abortion because she hasn't bled or anything. And she's like, what the fuck's kind of going on with you? As they're trying to have that kind of talk, she's like, listen, I'm going to keep it. Because it's the last thing that she has of Henry, and she doesn't know that Henry's in the time period. Anyway, so she decides to pretty much go and fuck Lovett to make it look like that it's his kid and that he wouldn't get rid of it or anything like that. So we're getting more along the lines of like, okay, so we're going to have this. We see her kind of like writing out notes and everything, like kind of Clairish, and her thoughts and how she's kind of going through things. I did like those parts of her showing the emotions of kind of her going through all this stuff, preparing herself to do this with Lovett, and then to make sure that her child is at least marginally more safe. So we'll have to see how Claire's sibling kind of pops up. Same with her parents and everything. We'll see if they kind of go the route that Faith isn't the Faith that was referenced in the Outlander show isn't Claire's daughter, but instead Claire's sibling or whatnot. So I don't mind that. I would actually prefer that, but I don't like being baited with the misdirection of it could be the child that they had. It's like, alright, whatever. No. I mean, this kind of fixes it, but you didn't need to bait it with, like, Faith's alive! It's like, that's... Alright. So, we evidently have Claire's parents in play, and soon-to-be sibling as well. So, we'll have to see how that kind of works out, and if that kind of changes anything, because in the book series, that whole thing with Master Raymond, I don't think really occurred in this route. And, of course, the linking up with, like, Faith or whatnot with those kids and everything didn't really happen. So, we'll have to see what kind of changes this reverberates in the show, where it's kind of going a little bit Game of Thrones of, like, yeah, you got a general outline of certain kind of shit, and then just kind of spins out of control. I think Diana Gabaldon is going to handle it better, because of what she's been able to do with the books. And the thing is, we do have her writing, written by episode 9 she does, Braemar, and then she's also with the Something Borrowed in episode 10. So that's 10, 9, and 10. Oh, and according to Wikipedia, what I'm seeing is that there's going to be a bigger break between 9 and 10 for some odd reason. So, look forward to that! I know that sounds kind of random, but, like, it's really weird to talk about this show because it's showing things that we've already kind of dealt with or had an idea of, and it's not really fleshing out a lot of that. Like, we don't really see Colm and Dougal, they just have their kind of fighty fight stuff, and you don't really see them come to their kind of realization and agree on this kind of thing of like, okay, you be the brains, I be the brawn. Works out. It just kind of happens. I feel like there's certain steps that needed to be that were missing. If you're going to be doing it this way, it's like, show us the stuff. I mean, yeah, showing the whole kind of oath taking and everything, and getting people to get them as laird and war chieftain. Yes, that's the part, but we need to also understand we've seen them at loggerheads and both think that they deserve to be a laird, and they're vastly missing everything, like giant critical parts. Column can't do everything in the field. Dougal can't think worth a dick. Though they do kind of back and forth on that, because he's like, I'm going to do this with the Jacobite cause. It's like, alright, like, I never thought of Dougal as a complete and utter dipshit in the main show. Now, he is vastly older, so he's probably got more life experience and got kicked in the dick enough to not fucking think completely with his dick and like, I'm gonna kill, and I'm gonna be a warrior kind of shit. Now, he is very emotionally driven, whereas Colum is more intellectually driven. However, in this kind of showcase, we see that he is very emotionally driven by, like, his father fucking him over. Fucking them both over, and then being like, oh yeah, I'd pretty much make her the laird, but she's a woman. It's like, then just fucking do it anyway. She's the only one that knows what's fucking going on here and can actually do this kind of shit. Oh, I don't know, man. It's really kind of weird. It's more like, I don't know why this exists, other than to try and potentially fix any kind of plot holes that they kind of introduced in the first, in Outlander, not in the first season or anything, but like introduced with the whole faith thing, which I'm just like, I thought we were just gonna see like Jamie and Jamie's parents get together, and also Claire's parents. It just feels like it's convoluted with nothing happening as it should, which is weird for me. It's not grabbing me as I think it should, and even with like the weird shit that sometimes goes wrong with Outlander, I'm like, okay, I get the forward progression. I'm just like, always with a prequel series, you got to be like, why does this exist? And that justification always kind of like hampers it to a certain degree. It's like, alright, well, we'll see how this goes. So those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.